What up, guys? James here, aka the Pomp, and in celebration of my old how-to videos finally reaching like 1 million views, I'm going to showcase to you guys today how I style the Pompadour. And basically I make this video like kind of every like 1 or 2 years to kind of update and talk about kind of some new things I've learned, focusing on some new kind of specific topics about styling the Pompadour and whatnot. And so today we'll be using BluMaan 5th sample styling mask pomade to go ahead and work with this pomade, because it is a very good kind of product that balances between like what we in the traditional pomade community consider to be a pomade, and also what you as an average user, or kind of what the average person could learn to be like what is a pomade. Because the reason why we use a pomade is essentially just the fact that it provides hold immediately versus a gel or like a hair mousse or anything else. Those take time to dry to finally provide hold, and once they have hold, they lock in. Whereas a pomade provides holds instantly, and it also provides malleable hold. And so that's what we'll work with today. My haircut is actually a low drop fade from skin on the sides, kept tight up because that's just what I need. I'll also talk about styling with longer sides if need be, if that's you. And my hair in the front is down to my lips, about kind of anywhere from 7 to 9 inches long in the front, getting slightly shorter and thinner towards the back. So go ahead, start by applying the product. Now, kind of like the major reasons why I bothered to even do this video is because this is just my perspective on it. There are many different ways about doing it, and for me, my method isn't necessarily like common. Like, it's kind of shared within our pomade community, but it's not so shared between like how your barber would style your pompadour. It's actually completely different. I start with my hair dry. You can also start with your hair kind of slightly moist or slightly just damp, towel dry damp, but I prefer to have it dry. That's just what I prefer. It's not necessarily what you have to do, but it is an option. I find that I get more like hold and more volume if I apply it to my hair while dry. Now, while applying the product, go ahead and apply the product into your hands, kind of like mess around with it and then work with it into your hair. I usually start working it from the front to back at first to just get the hairs out of my face. That's literally the only reason why. And then I go from kind of back to front in a way, making sure I get like the product kind of in the middle, near the roots, not onto the scalp, but near the roots, because it's kind of support and product down there that's really going to provide you the foundation to style your pomp nice and tall later on. Because I do have like very long hair, I do need about 3 to 4 scoops of pomade. Scoops are pretty small, kind of about this size. Other people often have much shorter hair, more around like the 4 to 5, 6 inch kind of length, but I prefer to have it longer just so that when I style the pompadour and as my hairs go back, the strands go all the way back. They don't cut off in the middle and you start seeing this kind of like edginess and like non-continuity during the pomp. But applying is very simple. It's not crazy. It's not like anything out of the ordinary. Similar to how you would apply anything else. Also note, I don't use a blow dryer. I just don't feel the need to. It's not something I'm willing to kind of integrate into my daily lifestyle. It's just too much noise. I want the most simple thing possible, which is why we use a pomade. It's like a one product thing, nice and simple, provides you with everything you need. No multiple product, no pre-styler, no post-styler, no hairspray, no like BS. Just one product that would do everything you need. And yeah, so the biggest thing to kind of take into account if you're a first timer here is just to make sure you're applying everything as evenly as possible and getting it where you actually need to. I'll also make sure I get a little bit on the side so I can kind of put it down a little like later on. If you have longer sides, you'll obviously want to go ahead and get good product down there as well, but you don't need to focus on it getting down near the roots as much because you just want to slick it back. But with the product applied, go ahead and kind of just comb through, and this is to also make sure that everything is still evenly distributed. Oh, totally forgot to mention this. So the tools at my disposal, I keep a dressing table comb, which is your standard coarse and fine tooth comb, but the teeth are as long as possible. This allows you to kind of dig in as far as possible when you pump later on, because when you pump, you want to kind of dig in and reach in as far as possible to get a lot of volume. And also I keep a nice rat tail comb with like ultra fine teeth. This is to kind of create the part, which I won't necessarily be doing this time because I don't have the sides anymore. But when I did have sides, this would form the part, and this is basically a nice detail. And it also serves to kind of like slick things back extremely well. No brush, no roller brush, aka hair tampon, no like blow dryer, like none of that. Just keep everything very simple. So what we're doing is basically combing everything back, pushing everything towards the middle. You notice that I'm always working things towards the middle, basically opening up my sides so I can go ahead and start pushing down like these longer strands. Now, when I had longer hair, this is when I would go ahead and form my part by dragging the rat tail through the hair along the line in which I want to form the part. Now my part is somewhat already cut in. It's not a hard part, it's not shaved in, but like the hair lengths do separate my part line. On the opposing side, I'll actually just comb back, slightly just work the longer sides down such that you don't get a hard part anymore. You just get everything that kind of blends and pushes back. You can also do this on the other side as well. But basically what we have now is like the sides down and out of the way. If you have long sides and slick it back. Don't go down with it, go back with it. You'll notice a big difference when you do that. And then towards the back here, you're just basically your longer back hairs are then blending in with your sides and then going back down. Longer hair, you'll ducktail it. With this, I don't have anything back there. Okay, so now is the part that kind of everyone wants to know about, is how you actually form the pomp. This is going to be how I form it. There are many other different ways, but what I'll say for sure is it's not some sort of like arts and crafts. You're not like combing this up, bending it, and then placing it. No, it's very smooth, like kind of wholesome motions. So what I'm doing is basically, in a cheat way, just kind of throwing my hair up, and because it's long, it's already caught in the back here. And so the hair, which is kind of flowing from the front, slightly up, and then meeting in the back, I'm basically just combing up the front, pulling that hair so that it forms like a bump in the front. And I'm kind of like continuously doing that motion, all the while going back, making sure the back is still nice and tucked back there. Now this would just get you like a cone-shaped front, which is what some people actually go for, but not what I'm going for. And so I just use that to basically get the height, gather the like kind of the supporting shape. And this is where like the long teeth come into use. Then you go ahead and you do a separate motion. You're pulling towards the front now. Like you're basically digging in your comb and then pulling it. This is where that kind of like the stickiness, the grip of the product comes into play. By doing that simple motion, you're not actually using the comb to like twist and grab it out. You're basically letting the product kind of grip to your comb and it gets pulled out slightly. The repeating motion of this is what gives your pomp a lot more forward of a shape. So to repeat, basically you just comb everything back, and then you'll naturally have a little bit of volume. Once again, you just throw everything up. Don't worry about the shape so much, just get the height there. And then you start pulling it forward. Like, don't worry about like kind of twisting or trying to grab the hair of your comb. The product will do it. Even if it's a very slick and oily product, there is still a slight stick to it that will grab it. Even if it's a dry and matte product, there's definitely a grip that will grab it. And so now we just go back, clean up a few edges, making sure the part is still very clean. You can also use your hand to shape the pomp. and depending on your aesthetic, you can achieve as much as you want. Whether you want this much height, less height. Obviously, with less height, it's much easier to style, much easier to maintain, and also the amount, like the wide range of products, there's a lot more available to you. And so that's what I'm talking about. And so that's how I style the Pompadour. Something very simple, minimal amount of tools, minimal amount of products, basically bringing down like your cost, your time investment in the morning, and just trying to make everything as minimal as possible, because this is already more time consuming than like I need. And so you want to keep everything else as minimal as possible. Don't need for a fucking blow dryer, don't do pre-styles, don't do any of that like kind of BS. Just keep everything very simple. Get a good solid like product, just that can like do what you need to do. That is a solid pomade that will provide you with like enough hold that you need. Don't go with anything more than you need, because then that's how you kind of start drying out your hair, kind of killing it, and also most importantly just losing the ability to kind of shape, because the stronger the product, the less it's kind of able to let your hair kind of like come out on its own, which then gives you kind of like a squarish, a cone-ish kind of pomp. But yes, so that's how I styled the Pompadour, and I hope you guys got something out of it. But yeah, so enjoy and peace.